This is a documentary-style investigation into the sudden collapse of Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo at the Madlanga Commission on October 1st, 2025. What happened in that room changed the tone of the inquiry, and it left many South Africans asking a hard question. Was this a health emergency, or was it something far more sinister? In this video, we will walk through who Dumisani Khumalo is, what he was about to reveal, the context of the Madlanga Commission, the claims and denials, and the wider implications that flow from a single shocking moment. Dumisani Khumalo has served in crime intelligence for years. He rose through the ranks and became a central figure in exposing possible corruption and criminal networks inside the police service. His work made him a target and a trusted source to reformers. At the Madlanga Commission, he was due to speak about links between a group known in media as the Big Five and certain senior police figures. The names Katiso, Molefe, and Vusimuzi, Matlala appear often in reporting and in allegations. Other names, including Mogotsi, Senzo Mchunu, and Cedrick Nkabinde, have been mentioned as part of networks that may have tried to shape investigations. These are serious claims, and they raise the stakes for anyone who could prove them. The Madlanga Commission was set up to look into deep problems in the criminal justice system. It aims to show how intelligence was handled, why some cases failed, and whether political pressure or crime syndicates interfere with investigations. Commissions are slow and formal, but they can expose patterns and force accountability. In recent years, South Africa has seen several high-profile scandals about interference and violence linked to whistleblowers. The Commission's work sits at the heart of a national search for answers about the rule of law. On October 1st, 2025, during a tense session, Khumalo collapsed. Some witnesses described him as suddenly unwell and needing urgent care. He was taken away and later admitted to hospital. Authorities began an inquiry into the cause of his illness. Within hours, social media and newsrooms were full of speculation. Some pointed to his long service and possible pre-existing conditions. Others drew a darker line, that someone wanted to silence him before he spoke further. When rumors of poisoning began to spread, they did not appear out of nowhere. They grew from a long history of risky revelations, threats against witnesses, and a public appetite for explanations that fit a pattern of sabotage. There are reasons to treat poisoning claims with caution. Real forensic evidence is required to prove poisoning. Blood tests, toxicology screenings, and a clear chain of custody for samples all matter. In high-profile cases, rush statements and leaks can confuse the public. The South African Police Service has a duty to investigate thoroughly and to release key facts where possible. Yet institutions can also be slow or guarded, and that gap between secrecy and the public fuels suspicion. We must weigh both the absence of evidence and the stakes of what Khumalo said he knew. We also need to consider motive and opportunity. If Khumalo was about to expose a network linking business people and certain police officials, then powerful interests could have been at risk. The alleged WhatsApp messages between Mogotsi and Matlala, if genuine, suggest coordinated efforts to shape investigations and public narratives. The disbandment of the political killings task team raises further questions about where investigative capacity has gone and whether certain cases were allowed to be neglected. At the same time, those named have issued denials, saying coverage was selective or that messages were taken out of context. Balance requires we listen to both the claims and the denials. Mogotsi and others have publicly defended themselves and criticized parts of reporting. The SAPS has denied systemic plans to silence witnesses and says it is investigating. Advocate Terry Moto's resignation as evidence leader added another layer of complexity, removing a key legal voice from the commission and prompting questions about its future. This contest of narratives is why clear, independent evidence matters more than conjecture. History matters here. South Africa has seen high-profile poisonings, suspicious illnesses, and threats against those who expose wrongdoing. Cases such as the murder of whistleblower Babita Deokaran show how dangerous it can be to stand against corruption. Past episodes of alleged poisoning or sudden illness among public figures have often left more questions than answers when transparency was lacking. That history shapes how the public reacts, and why many will not accept a simple explanation without proof. What should we expect next? First, a full medical report and independent toxicology results would be vital to move facts into the open. Second, The commission must protect witnesses and ensure testimony is recorded and preserved even if a witness cannot continue. Third, if there is credible evidence pointing to foul play, law enforcement must act quickly and transparently. The credibility of the Madlanga Commission and public trust in the justice system depend heavily on how these steps are handled. Investigators must also publish a clear timeline of events, from the first symptom to hospital admission, and who had access to the room and the evidence. Transparency about who handled Khumalo's documents, phones, and medical samples will reduce confusion. Journalists must keep pressure on official statements and report only verified facts. At the same time, viewers should avoid sharing unverified claims that can harm families and derail justice. This story is not only about one man. It is about whether institutions can protect truth-tellers and whether those who serve the public can be held to account. There are wider implications either way. If the collapse was a natural medical emergency, the event still exposes a fragile climate of distrust around high-stakes inquiries. If evidence of poisoning emerges, the country will face the grim reality that whistleblowers and investigators may be targets. Either outcome pushes the same urgent need: better protection for witnesses, stronger oversight, and clearer public communication from the institutions we rely on. For citizens watching, the path forward is to demand transparency, support independent oversight, and protect whistleblowers. Elections and politics alone will not fix structural problems inside institutions. Civil society, the media, and the courts must act without fear to follow evidence and hold people to account. The Madlanga Commission could be a turning point if it forces reforms, or it could be a missed chance if it becomes bogged down in politics and procedure. We will keep following developments and bring updates as they come. Subscribe to our channel and press the notification bell so you do not miss new episodes. Tell us in the comments what you think. Was Dumisani Khumalo's illness an accident or a deliberate attempt to stop him? How should the commission respond? And what steps should be taken to protect those who speak out? Like the video, share it widely, and help us keep asking the hard questions. Thank you for watching.